All right, now to our morning business report. Your next iPhone or Apple Watch could look a lot different than your current one.
Yeah, I think it's a little blast from the past. And the FDA has just approved a new drug showing a lot of promise in the fight against pancreatic cancer. Channel 3's Jane King live at the New York Stock Exchange with all those stories for us. Good morning, Jane.
Hi, Tracy. Caitlin, good morning. Yes, the FDA approved yesterday this groundbreaking pancreatic cancer drug that experts say could transform treatment of the disease. The drug is from a company called Revolution Medicines, and it is called Q. And it was approved for patients with advanced pancreatic cancer who have already tried a prior treatment like chemotherapy. In late-stage clinical trials of 500 patients, people who got the drug lived about twice as long, just over 13 months on average, compared with those who got chemotherapy. Well, Chinese state-sponsored hackers infiltrated U.S. government network computers ranging from NASA to the U.S. Senate before having the web domains linked to those cyber groups shut down by the feds. Now, the Department of Justice and FBI announced the seizure of 3 domains linked to a Chinese state-sponsored hacking group called QTFY, which have been used to compromise critical infrastructure and other sensitive networks. And Apple has sent out invitations for its big event in September. It's called Surprise and Shine. It is set for September 9th in California, and all signs point to just fewer product releases this year. We do expect an iPhone 18 Pro and Pro Max alongside Apple's first foldable phone, which is rumored to be called the Ultra. It's also the first big Apple reveal with the new CEO, John Ternus. Okay, stocks yesterday, a little changed. We got some inflation numbers. Those were non-threatening. This morning, we are looking higher on the back of NVIDIA's very strong earnings report. Live from the New York Stock Exchange, I'm Jane King. Back to you.